How's everybody doing?
I'm doing fantastic, black man. Hopefully, everybody listening in here, please give our good brother Raheem Shabazz a retweet and share it on your social media. We're going to have a very important discourse tonight surrounding, the topic of his book and a great deal of the subject matter here that I think will be of interest to those that care about black empowerment and the future of our people. So, hope everybody's doing well tonight. How you doing tonight, Sister Nicely, brother
I'm
Black?
good. How you guys doing?
Glad to hear that, sister.
Good family, just driving. Would you like me to put your link in the jumbotron, brother Raheem Shabazz, for your
Oh
author
yes,
page on Amazon?
yes, absolutely. You
Okay,
can do that.
go ahead and do
I
that real quick.
appreciate that. For those that don't know, this is actually my first time doing a live. I've been on many other individuals' platforms, but as far as me personally doing a live myself, yeah, this is the first time.
I see the good sister Mrs. L in the building as well. Quan S over here, DJ Fat Mac. Again, Brother Charles, I see you. Please, everybody, go ahead and give us a retweet. And Brother Raheem, while we're waiting on folks, for those that may not know, brother, let people know who you are and some of your work that you've done in the past here besides the book Radical Hope in the 21st Century.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear, black man.
Okay, yeah, I just got kicked off. I'm back now. Now, what was you saying, brother?
Yeah, I was saying, give the people an introduction to who you are for those that may not know, because I stay telling folks about you, man. But yeah, there may not be some people in here that are familiar with all your work in conjunction with your book, Radical Hope in 21st Century, which I highly recommend. I have the book myself. That is very important in this time where they're trying to take our history out of these schools. We see what's going on with this turning point shenanigans. So, yeah, brother, right here, give people some background on some of your other past work, because there might be some black parents in here that would definitely find that very useful.
Oh yeah, for those that don't know, I am an executive producer of the Elementary Genocide documentary series. It was a three-part series that I had put out several years ago. I initially started in 2014. We put out the first documentary, and that was called Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. And that one was the first one. And then after that, we put out Elementary Genocide 2, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And then ultimately, we put out Elementary Genocide 3, Academic Holocaust. And to give you a brief synopsis of what the documentary entails, it talks about how the government and the school system utilizes the reading scores of third and fourth graders to determine how many prisons they're going to build in the next 10 to 15 years. Because statistically, if you're in the third or fourth grade and you're not reading on grade level, there's a 75% chance that you're going to end up in jail. So they know the numbers, they know the statistics, and they build the prisons based on that. And knowing that they got to fill these prisons because they got private contracts with the state and the government, you know, there is a high probability of black people getting arrested for crimes that they didn't even commit, that they're not guilty of. That's why the exoneration rate for us is so high. Um, and if you ever go to one of these private prisons websites, you'll see that they have the ticker tape for on there where you can actually see how much their stock goes up and it goes down. For instance, when Trump got into office, it shot through the roof because they know that he's pro-prison, pro-immigration, and supposedly supposed to be tough on crime. And they have a model on their website: if we build it, they will come. So this is what they think. This is what they're trying to do. And it's a sinister plan. Many people know about it. It's been going on for years. A lot of y'all favorite Democrat politicians, they take money from these private groups that have lobbyists, so they get favorable laws and legislation passed so they could build these private prisons. I'm a little bit under the weather, um, but I had to show up. I'm gonna do the best that I can, with all that we got. So, you wanna start it off, or how you wanna do this, Great Black Shop?
I said, do want to build on something you were just saying here because Brother Raheem Shabazz is right. And if you're a black parent listening to this space, first and foremost, I highly recommend you go and get the brother's documentary work, Elementary Genocide 1 through 3, in conjunction with his book, Radical Hope in the 21st Century, because one of the things about the system of white supremacy is it's systematic. And when they see our young black men and women, they see dollar signs and to warehouse them in these private prisons, like my brother was saying. And a lot of our youth, they're not up the code on that. And this is where the older people come in as far as giving them the game to play past some of the traps that they set for our brothers and sisters out here. And this is why they try to use things like Turning Point USA to antagonize the young brothers and sisters in their home campuses now with the nonsense they got going on. Me and my brother Raheem was just talking about that before we started this space here. So knowledge is always power, but it definitely becomes wisdom when you put it into practical application. And brothers like Raheem Shabazz, and shout out to my brother Sincere Love the Guy, my sister Nicey Girls co-host, the people, and myself and many others, we try to put out information for the people that can help our people because we can't rely on anybody else to help us. And tonight we're going to be discussing my brother Raheem Shabazz's book, a chapter out of it called Reparations, Then Separation. I found that very important. That's a chapter in that book right there that is the focal point right now of the Foundation of Black American Freedmen Grassroots. So, I think everybody is going to be able to benefit from that book. And my brother's doing speaking tours on that now. Like I said, the brother's a little bit under the weather now, but trust me, if y'all not familiar with this brother, please get familiar with his work. Sister Knight, you got something you want to add to this?
Absolutely. I just wanted to say that the same America that criminalizes our children in schools is the same one that denied our ancestors generational wealth. Reparations is what we're going to be talking about. So I just wanted to throw that in as well.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And one thing I want to say, right? There's several chapters in this book that deals with reparations. We don't just have it as um a line note in the book. In this particular one, it's reparations, then separation.
Page 25.
And I think that we as a people, we don't talk about that enough, right? We just talk about, oh, we need reparations, right? All right, when we do get it, because we are going to get it, right? Because we're not asking for it, we demanding it. And people got to understand that reparation is not an ask, it's a demand. Now, when we do get it, right? What are we going to do? Are we going to take our money, hard earned money, right, and give it back to our open enemy? Nah, it's reparation, then separation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that separation is better than prayer. Let me say that again. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that separation is better than prayer. So I know, as for myself and for those that are of like mind, that we're going to separate ourselves. We're going to build onto our own. We're going to build a self-sustaining community and pass down and continue to pass down generational wealth, because that's what it's about. Um, I want to read an excerpt from the book, under this chapter. It's Reparation, Then Separation. And I think me, Great Black Shark, and Nicey Girl, we can discuss it, and then we'll open up the floor for some questions, and we'll just have it as conversationalists, as family, as we do. Can everybody hear me good?
I can.
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, I like to ask a question while my brothers getting things in order here. By a thumbs up down here in the audience, how many of you have heard of Brother Raheem Shabazz's book, Radical Hope in the 21st Century? Because the mainstream media and all these other networks in place, they're not going to promote anything that's going to help Black people. So how many of you have been familiar with my brother's work already? Just give us a thumbs up in the chat room if you already heard of it or you already have the book and read it. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of people. Good, good. Okay, I see somebody said they don't have it. Well, I highly recommend it. In fact, the business, if you look in the Jumbotron, my brother Black Truth United put it up there, and he's going to be reading an excerpt from it. We're going to be discussing it. Like I said, I read it cover to cover. Like he said, there's many chapters that discuss reparations in it, but this one in particular, I found very powerful. Okay, so Brother Rye, if you ready, I'm ready when you're ready, brother.
Okay. All right. This is the chapter called Is Reparation Then Separation? The demand for reparations for Black Americans stems from a long history of systematic racism and discrimination. Black people have been subject to enslavement, segregation, redlining, and other forms of systematic oppression, which has contributed to significant disparities between Black and white communities in areas such as wealth, income, education, and health. We believe that reparations are necessary in order to acknowledge and address the harm caused by these historical injustice and to provide a measure of compensation for the legacy of slavery and discrimination. Moreover, reparations are not just about compensating individuals for past injustice, but also acknowledging the systematic factors that continues to perpetrate racial inequality in the present day. The demand for reparation by Black Americans is a way of drawing attention to the needs of systematic change and to address the ongoing impact of historical injustice. By drawing a line between Black experience and experience of other groups, Black American hope to raise awareness about the unique challenges they face and to secure recognition and compensation for the harm they endure by the monumental injustice of slavery and its legacy. Now, I want to stop right there, right? Because there's something that's very interesting, right? We always talk about the disparity between Blacks and white as far as the wealth gap, right? And today, if you look at the median net worth of a white household in America, right, it stands at about $187,000, right? That's for the white household in America. But for Black households, it's just $24,000, right? So that is $165,000 gap. Now, watch this, right? Had our people been given the 40 acres that they was promised, and if you adjust that for today's dollar, right, and today's amount, what it will amount to today, each family will be sitting on $168,411. In other words, there will be no so-called wealth gap. So what is essentially happening is this country's economy has been building for over 400 years, and it has been building on the backs of Black labor. So they had a 400-year start. We didn't start until 60 years ago after the passing of the Civil Rights Act. So you subtract 60 from 400, and that's the lead that they got ahead of us. So reparation is the battle cry for the 21st century for foundational Black Americans. And it should be the battle cry for anybody that calls themselves an ally of Black Americans. And with that, I'm gonna let the Great Black Shark and Nicey T, if y'all want to read an excerpt or if y'all just want to elaborate on what I just read, I'm gonna give y'all the floor to do
I
that.
wanted to elaborate on what you just said, and also going back to the reparations rally, in DC, right? We were talking about, the five pillars of for reparations, and you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean. So separation also, we're not just talking about physical distance or leaving America. This is our homeland. This is what we built. we have no other land to go to, we're staying right here. But what we are talking about is international law calls. Guarantee of non-repetition is what we're talking about. This means that the harms that we experience as foundational Black Americans cannot continue. Separation for us is rehabilitation, restitution, and satisfaction, and ensuring that the same cycle of oppression, exploitation, and disrespect does not repeat itself.
Mm, that's deep. That's deep. And I remember that. It's called the 10 Practical Things You Can Do for the Reparation Struggle. And what I'll do is after this broadcast, I'll post all 10 of them so that we can have Brother Black, Great Black Shark.
Man, I'm so glad that our sister ran that list down because this must become the mantra for our people as far as how we go about conducting getting these reparations. And like you said, Brother Rao, what we're going to do when we get them, because we're going to get them. It's going to come a time where they're going to be begging to pay on. Their system is already crumbling. But I want to build on something that you were saying here about this wealth gap. Family, and for any young people that may be listening, think about this. If you started a business and you had 400 years of not having to pay payroll, that's the equivalent of what these white supremacists have done off the backs of our ancestors. So it's a long overdue, legally owed debt. It's not something we're going to be quiet about. And see, I want to make sure that young Black people that may be listening to this space understand this. You hear a lot of the white supremacist rhetoric where they're always talking about high IQs and how much we don't know how to do. Well, that is not true because, like Brother Ross said, we didn't just have neighborhoods, we had entire towns. These white supremacists sabotaged our towns, burned them down. It continued on with the black codes and then with integration, which is a controversial opinion, but I think that really hurt us, not just because we were in closer proximity to these white supremacists with their degenerate ways. It folded our economy from our businesses that we had into their economy. Everything is about money in this country. So that's why the white supremacists with the sense, they approved of the things like that as far as like integration, because it folded our economic dollar into theirs. Furthermore, with our businesses today in the modern era here, we do very well when we're left without sabotage. When you look at how we conduct ourselves in this country as far as being business owners, they're always telling us, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay. So when Black men and women do that, they have to come sabotage us. They don't do that to Asians, East Indians, Arabs, Hispanics. They also don't do it to themselves like that. So I want young Black people to understand that this is an artificial condition that we've been placed in as far as socio-economic deprivation. So that's what I wanted to add to Brother Rod. If you will continue reading, or I could continue reading, man, I'm glad we're having this space, and thank you for putting this discourse together, my brother. Even when you're under weather, that's something I want y'all to know about my good brother Raheem Shabazz here. In case you're not familiar with him, that brother's a New Yorker. Okay, it'll take more than a little cold to get him down. All right, so that's
Yeah,
it. I yield tonight.
it's gonna take more than that. What I want to highlight, right? Because Sister Nicey T talked about it. This is a fight that our ancestors started, and we have to pick up the torch, right? Well, most people don't know that there are three Black women that are monumental to this struggle, right? Um, and some of y'all might not be familiar with them. I spoke about them at the Reparations rally in DC in 2022, and one of them was Callie House, right? And she started the Ex-Slave Mutual Relief Bounty and Pension Association. And guess what she did this, family? In the 1800s. So this reparation movement goes all the way back to the 1800s, and it started with a Black woman, right? Then you have Queen Mother Moore. Uh, Queen Mother Moore, she created the Reparation Committee for Descendants of American Slaves, right? And then you have Dorothy Till with the Slave Era Disclosure Ordinance in Chicago. And that ordinance basically said that if you was an institution that benefited from slavery, that you had to pay reparations. And in order to do business with the city of Chicago, you had to submit paperwork proving that you didn't have no ties to slavery. You had railroad companies, you had banks that all had ties to slavery that could not do business with the city of Chicago because they had ties with slave unless they was going to pay reparation. So these are the sisters that um was spearheading the movement, right? Um as far as Callie House, she rallied over 300,000 ex-slaves to sign a reparation petition in 1899. Let me say that again. She rallied over 300,000 ex-slaves. There was no social media. I I don't even know. I'll go on record and say in 1899, did they even have phones? I don't even know if they had
Right.
phones
I
then.
was gonna say the same thing.
But yeah, they had no social media. They didn't have phones. They didn't have fax. You know what they had? They had the will, the determination, and the fortitude to see that something needs to be done, and we're gonna step up and we're gonna do it. So if they can do that in 1899, right, and we have a smartphone in the palm of our hand that contains more information than that the world had when they sent the first people to the moon, then we need to be way ahead of the game right now. So that's just something to think about. And at that time, right, she was suing the US government for $68 million in reparation, and it was for the cotton tax that they collected between 1862 and 1868. So we were suing the government in the 1800s, and we need to continue that fight. We need to have a modern day Johnny Cochran to take on the United States of America and with our reparation claim against them. And I don't know if the Great Black Shark or Nicey T, if y'all want to read the next paragraph from where I stopped at. I read the first three. Which one of y'all want to do?
I got you, good brother. And right before I do that, I want to thank you for bringing up the names of Callie House and the other sisters there because you're right. During the 1800s, it was the willpower and the focus that got our people on code and for them to push the message the way they did. So here in the modern era, with all this technology we have, I know the reason why a lot of our people haven't picked up the torch the way they should. There's some of us on code, but we need more. It's the modern era distractions and becoming comfortable in this system of oppression. You know, people have their jobs, businesses, sports, entertainment, etc. So that focus is the key to us using this technology that a lot of our ancestors wish they had at their fingertips. Sometimes I sit and imagine what Malcolm or Martin or Harriet Tubman or Callie House or any of these people would have done if they had we have at our fingertips today. But with that said, brother, I shall pick up where you left off right here in the book. Yeah, you did want me to go ahead and pick up reading, right?
Yes. Before you do that, everybody, if you can, please DM and share the link so others can join us. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right. So picking up where my brother left off, and this is in the It's Reparations, then it's Separation chapter for those that's just coming in. This is on page 25. All right. So it says, by drawing a line between the Black experience and the experiences of other groups, Black Americans hope to raise awareness about the unique challenges they face and to secure recognition and compensation for the harm they have endured by the monumental injustice of slavery and its legacy. In the pursuit of justice and economic empowerment, it is imperative that we address the disaggregation among various Black ethnic groups in America. Those who oppose this essential strategy either lack a comprehensive understanding of why it is necessary or are determined to hinder the reparations rightfully owed to Black Americans, descendants of those who are enslaved on U.S. soil, or those who resided in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans. We must recognize the critical importance of establishing a clear distinction between Black Americans and Black/African immigrants. This is delineation and disaggregation and are essential for the shedding of light on the alarming economic conditions faced by Black Americans, as well as the disparities. Hold on, let me turn the page here. Disparities in benefits received through affirmative actions. You want me to pause right there, brother?
Yeah, we could pause right there. Because I know a lot of people are clutching their pearls and catching their breath because they heard that we must establish a clear distinction between Black Americans and Black African immigrants, and it talks about uh um delineation. You know, and listen, when I say this is respectfully. You know, we have to show the difference in Black American and any other ethnic group. It's not just with African immigrants. And this is not a race-based issue. This is lineage-based. And a lot of times what happens when you have these immigrants and these other ethnic groups that come in and want to be a part of the reparation movement or try to join on to the reparation movement, they make it race based. And it's already clearly established that this is not race based, this is lineage based. And if you can't follow the guidelines or the protocol, then you're not a real reparationist. You know what I mean? And that's why you have a lot of these other legacy organizations that been around 30 and 40 years that people are not even taking serious no more. You know what I mean? Because they stuck in the old times. You know, yeah, there was a time where the movement was race based, but there was a time where it wasn't, because there was some that wanted it and there was some that didn't. But when you analyze it and you look at it, there's no way it could be race based. Other people that received reparation, it never was race based. It was always lineage based. It was always focus on harm that was done to a specific group of people. It wasn't a all in for everybody type of deal. And that's what other people want to do when they come in to this reparation movement. And with that, I'll stop right there.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the delineation as well. Delineation is not about division, so I want to clear that up. It's about clarity, right? We have to clarify and be very, very, specific about, the harms that were made specifically to foundational Black Americans here in the Americas. U.S. Jim Crow, redlining, those are things that were specifically, those are specific harms that were made to foundational Black Americans. This doesn't mean that harms were not done to other communities. However, we have a 500 year, you know, um, a 500 years of, getting back what is owed to foundational Black Americans. And I also wanted to talk about the legacy group that you mentioned. Here in California, they recently passed a bill called AB 7. And basically, what this is a college preferential admissions bill. That's all it is. And the bill doesn't specify or it's not specific to foundational Black Americans. So basically, it's an all lives matter type of bill, and it doesn't include admissions like or tuition or anything like that. And this is something that we have the California Legislative Black Caucus, the Democratic Party, and y'all, we have the ADOS folk, Uncle Strappy and them celebrating this bill that does nothing to address the harms, to foundational Black Americans. Gavin Newsom signed this bill. And what it is, honestly, it's just another carrot that they're dangling, as fake reparations to garner support for Gavin Newsom because we know that he is going to try to run, for president. This is the same Gavin Newsom or the same California Legislative Caucus at the directive of Gavin Newsom that blocked real reparations on August 31st, 2024. So I just wanted to make it, clear that AB 7 is not reparations. It's actually a consideration only for college preferential admission. So I just wanted to throw that in there when we talk about the misleaders, these black looking people that's using reparations as a talking point, and also talk about delineation as well. So I wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, that's very important that people understand, right? Um, they had in Illinois, it was a small town that was helping people with housing and giving them down payment and making they took like maybe like 50 people and made them first time home owners, and they gave a couple of people some money. Um and that was on a state level, right? But what you got to understand is like college admission is not reparations, right? And the reason why I said that's not reparations is because what about my parents? You know what I mean? My parents are still alive, right? They're not going back to college. How does that benefit them? You know what I mean? Reparations is where it's going to benefit everyone. You know what I mean? Regardless of age. When I say everyone, I'm talking about as far as the demographic of age. When they do these criminal reform, most of black people I know ain't criminals. I was the only criminal in my circle. Now let me stop. But most of us are not criminal. You know what I mean? So is criminal reform good? Yeah, that's good. But you know what? That benefits a lot of other people as well too. Because when you really look at the statistics, it's most of them that's committing the crime anyway. We just the ones that get charged for it. But that is not reparation. Reparations is tangible. Reparation is financial, and reparation is owed to us as Black Foundation American. And a lot of these people that you see that are adding their name and their organization to that bill that our sister just talked about is the same ones that's trying to get money from the government so that they could be the organization to establish um a bureau or to be the organization that distributes the reparation checks. Now we don't need that. The government will give us our checks the same way they give out the Social Security checks, the same way they gave out them PPP loans. They can make sure that foundational Black Americans receive that reparation check. And with that, I'm gonna yield. I don't know if Nicey T, if you wanna read, or Great Black Shop, you wanna continue.
If you want,
I wanted to
you're going to continue.
I wanted to build on something you said, sister. Then I'll let you read the next paragraph. And what I want to say, building on Sister Nicety Girl's point, and I hope all the audience listening, especially the young black people that are listening in here that are of our lineage, it is very important for you to keep aware of the legislation that's going on in your particular state, what's going on in your cities or what have you, so you can be well informed on what to counter. Because whether it's Democrats or Republicans, they're always trying to put us in a trick bag with things, okay? Because gone are the times that we are just letting them slip this stuff by, and then they go and throw something and pass it and put together talking about, see, we did give you reparations. No, we're not falling for that anymore. That's why we rule out these terms like people of color and black and brown and all this other stuff. And in conjunction with Brother Raheem was saying, the delineation movement is not about hating anybody. It's not about trying to harm anybody. It's about us getting our cultural house in order and getting the things that we're owed for building a nation that wouldn't exist until we did build it. And see, what like Brother Raheem Shabazz was saying, in Chicago and New York and many other places, they let these illegal aliens, because I don't call them undocumented, they're illegal, they're not supposed to be here. They let them jump the line and give them our economic dollars and tax benefits. In fact, the business family, Sister Nicey, give me just 1 second to give the people this information, then I will yield the mic. What I want to do, family, I'm going to put this in the purple pill. And if you're a follower of my platform, I'm not here to promote myself, but I've been telling people about this website for the longest, foreignassistance.gov, okay? I put this in the purple pill and I'm going to put it in the Jumbotron. Now, what's important about this particular website? Well, what it does is it lets you see where your tax dollars, where our tax dollars are going in real time. See, when they paper these immigrants up, these illegal aliens, that's our money that they're using. And for them to take our tax dollars and give these disrespectful people our money and let them jump the line, that is highly disrespectful. It's something we need to keep aware of. And again, I want everybody in here to be familiar with foreignassistance.gov. Share that on your Facebook, your Twitter, your X, wherever you at. Get young Black people familiar with that site because it shows that's our reparations money right there. They use that as foreign puppet bribe money for countries overseas, and the same place that they got that money from, that's our reparation. The last thing I want to add is, like Brother Raheem, you were saying, it is not a hard thing to determine who's going to get reparations. We've already told them how to do that, and they know that. And it definitely is not going to be hard for them to implement giving our checks, because just like everybody in this room here, you get bills every month in the mail. They know who we are. So when it's time for us to pay our reparations, they're going to know how to find us that way. The same way they send out bills every 30 days, they can send them checks out. Well, that's it. I'll yield to Sister Nice and let her read or carry on the discourse.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I just want to, before I read the next paragraph, I just wanted to say here in Black California, because you guys, if you didn't know, I'm in Los Angeles, California. We are openly here being betrayed, displaced, replaced, and left for dead. You know what I'm saying? They have a Senate Bill 435 here, put on again by the California Legislative Black Caucus Chair, Senator Akila Weber Pearson, who created this bill, which is a 3 to 5 year long reparations study. Okay, so basically, it's another stalling tactic to not pay us what is owed. Also, they're actively giving monetary resources to illegals here in California. They're giving them, or they're talking about giving them $5,000, and they're also right now giving them rental assistance. So basically, if they come up to them and say, we're scared of ICE, or we're struggling financially, they're going to pay their rent up, for 6 months or 12 months or whatever. Again, that's part of our tax dollars here in California.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so I am going to finish this page where Great Black Shark left off. All right. It is undeniable that terms such as minority or people of color often serve as an advantage to other groups while simultaneously neglecting the specific needs and struggles of Black Americans. We as Black Americans should firmly resist being grouped together or equated with broad and ambiguous categories like minority, immigrants, people of color, diversity, poor people, and other similar defining terms. On numerous occasions, resources specifically allocated for Black Americans were diverted or distributed to other ethnic groups, masquerading under the umbrella term of minority or people of color. It is of utmost importance to recognize and scrutinize these occurrences with a critical lens to uphold the original purpose of these resources, fostering equality and empowerment for Black American community. We are Black Americans, the bedrock of this nation. Our contributions shaped America long before the arrival of Europeans or immigrants on the shores of North America. Historically, marginalized and oppressed Black Americans have faced significant struggles, making it vital to ensure that the intended support reaches them as intended, addressing the disparities they have endured in a world that often deemed them less than equal. Yet, despite these well-meaning efforts, the execution of such programs have not always aligned with the original purpose. And I believe that Brother Dr. Claude Anderson has always touched on this as well.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Um, I'm thinking before we go into, because I outlined like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 different ways that other people receive reparations and that none of it benefited us as a people. Um, Before we go into that, I wanted to highlight something because Great Black Shark was talking about how um, money is allotted overseas to other countries to help them, and that's being paid for with our tax dollars, right? And this is an excerpt from something that I had read last week, right? And I'm just going to read it. It says, according to the Council for National Interest Foundation, American taxpayer dollars contribute approximately 3 million annually to Israel due to perceived influence from AIPAC on the American Congress. It is worth considering the significant financial resources allotted to Israel when discussing the possibility of providing reparations to Black Americans. With the amount of money being sent to Israel, it is plausible to suggest that the demand for 16 trillion in reparations could be met within a period of a few within a period of fewer than 6 years. Let me say that again, and I'm not going to read from here. The demand for $16 million can be met within a period of less than 6 years. If they given Israel I said 16 million, I meant 16 trillion. If they able to give Israel $3 trillion every year in 6 years or less, they could be done with us without reparations.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it's that simple. When you look, if you even look at the money that was allotted for immigration in the last, let's say, 6 years, the money that went to the pandemic, the money that went to the PPP loans, if you add all of that up, it's more than $16 trillion. I can guarantee you that. And that, so when they say, oh, this would bankrupt America if they, no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. These people print that money, you know. It wouldn't bankrupt America. And what I'm gonna do is, because I don't want to go through all of this because I want to open up the floor to other people. I am gonna go to I'm gonna go to page 29, Black Shark and Nicey T. And I'm gonna go to the part where it says it's probably like the third or fourth paragraph. And I'm gonna read from there. As we navigate these demographic changes, it is essential to consider how reparation can be truly structured to honor the unique experience of descendant American slavery, which is foundational Black American, while forcing unity and exclusivity within the broader Black diaspora, right? Because let me tell you something. If we get reparations over here, that will make the argument stronger for those that have what is it called? Karakam? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. What is it called? Black Shark or Nice CT?
CARICOM.
Carcom.
Cabacon. You know what I mean? And vice versa. You know, they're suing Britain and France and Spain and you know those that colonized them, you know, that will make our argument even stronger. And then also being that we live in close proximity to one another, um over here, uh when we do receive reparation, it will stimulate the economy, thereby helping them as well. You know. So let me finish reading. And it says the balance is crucial as we strive to acknowledge historical injustice and build a future where all members of the Black community can thrive. Embracing our lineage and taking immense pride in our history and culture as Black Americans in no way impedes Africans or Caribbeans who came to America. On the contrary, we as Black Americans have always been inclusive and welcoming, allowing everyone to assimilate into our rich culture. Come on now, let's talk about it. Let me tell you something, man. We are the most welcoming people on the planet. You know, I don't know if y'all seen that video, but there's like two videos. One went viral where it was a white person and they was discussing that they told their children if they ever get lost, find someone black. I think they said it was either find a black person or a black man, because they know that we are the most unlikely one to harm a child. You know, so the narrative about blacks being criminals and prone to violence is a white supremacy trope that a lot of people from the diaspora, from Caribbean and Africa, are told. And they are told this in the immigration office before they come over here. And now what they're doing, because I had a friend that was coming from Canada, right? And we was working on a movie project, and she had called me, but I didn't answer the phone, right? And when she got, through immigration, she called me again and was like, "Yo, I'm glad you didn't answer the phone because they was gonna ask you." I told them that I was coming down there for your movie premiere, not to work on a movie project. And I told them, they asked me, was I getting paid? And I told them no. So I didn't want you to tell them that you was paying me, because I was paying her to do some work for me. Um, and she said they asked her my name, and she said she was hoping that they didn't look on social media, because that's another thing that they do. And that's why when we talk about they don't send the people that are riders over here, is because they'll look on your social media. And if you got anything remotely militant, yeah, you ain't going over there. They're gonna deny you. You know what I mean? So they send those that are docile, those that want to be in close proximity to the open enemy. Those are the ones they send over here, and those are the ones that we are diametrically opposed against. You know what I mean? Because you ain't gonna come over here, man, and impede what we've been fighting for years, just because you got melanated skin. The hell with that. You know what I mean? You can take that shit back the way you came from. And I think, um a lot of times, man, when we come with in that cold current, you know what I mean, it look like we divisive, and it look like, we ain't about no divisiveness. It's about standing on business. And if you are ally, and you want to eradicate racism and white supremacy, you're gonna stand with us as well. So what I want to do, brother, I wanted to if y'all had anything else to add on, and then we could just open up the floor and just make it conversational from here. I'm not gonna read too much more of this book, because I'm hoping that everybody in here go purchase this book. It's available on Amazon. You can order it directly from me if you want an autographed copy. We also have the ebook. You know, I'm starting to get into ebooks. I'm old school. I like to hold a traditional book in my hand, but sometimes, listen, them ebooks work. I be on the road. I be having 20, 30 books on my iPad that I can go to at a given moment, instead of running around with 30 books in a backpack. So Sister Nice C, you want to open up the floor? How y'all want to do it? Y'all know this is my first time. Y'all gotta work with me. Come on now.
Look, this I've been on Spaces as a listener, never as a co-host. So this is my first time too. We both virgins here.
Oh, I ain't no virgin now. You ain't gonna put that on me. I am not no virgin.
I am.
A digital version, digital version. But I wanted to add to briefly what you were saying, brother, before we open it up. One of the things that's the problem, like you were saying from reading from the that excerpt from the book here, whether it's of our lineage or of the Tether class, operative word class, we don't refer to all black immigrants as Tethers. A lot of people are afraid of power because, like you were saying, if we get our reparations here, it will be a domino effect around the world. And see, one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of people that are, continental Africans or Caribbeans that try to oppose us, they've thrown their lot in with, the white supremacists, because they have this mindset where if you can't beat them, join them, but you're never going to be able to join them. And see, one of the things I look at, and this is something that a lot of people may not know, and some of you may already know this if you're geographically astute and up on your history. A lot of continental African and Caribbean nations are willingly today a part of the British Commonwealth. And that's insane. If you got your independence on paper, why would you still want to be symbolically a subject of the British crown? This is why so many of them were crying and rolling around on the ground when that accursed queen died. So, when it starts, yeah, man, I hate her conquered half the world and butchered your people if they only knew their own history. But, I'll say this and then land so we can open it up for other people. The main thing, the difference between us and these other ethnic groups is they see white supremacy as something to capitulate to. We see as something to overthrow and to replace with a system of justice. And see, when it comes to division, that is not a bad thing if we're not on the same page. In the Jewish community, if there's somebody that stands up in their community when they're trying to get something and they start talking about, well, wait a minute, what about Jewish on Jewish or small hair on small hair crime? They're going to be like, man, give me your yarmulke before I hit you upside the head with this dreidel. You understand? So division is
Yep.
good sometimes. With that said, man, brother, I will yield. And ladies and gentlemen, please come up here and join the discourse. So that's it. Anybody that wants to request, come on up.
Come on up. By the way, I wanted to throw this in here though. I feel like we also give people in the diaspora in the Caribbean a slight pass with, they're told certain things about us in the immigration office. But what about the ones that are born here? They may be second or third generation immigrants, but they still have the same, for foundational Black Americans as if they were always in their homeland. And I understand a lot of that comes maybe from inside the home, but you've gone to school with us, you've been in our neighborhoods and all that stuff, and y'all still whining about African booty scratching. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we still give them too much of a pass about the immigration office because a lot of these people, especially in South America, who have a black abuela somewhere, they're practicing the same anti-black racism in their own homeland before they come here.
Yep, that's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it's a shame because, like you said, they went to school with us. They live in our same neighborhoods. A lot of them, emulate us. Some of um the biggest hip hop rappers are they favorite. They fans of them. And it's just like everything else. You know what I mean? You love our rhythm, but you hate our blues. You know what I mean? And we say that about the Open Enemy. They love our music. You know what I mean? But they hate our blues. Whenever we start talking about what's going on, oh, they hate that. But they like our rhythm and our dance and our style and our culture. But anything else, when it comes to elevating or pushing the culture forward, oh yeah, they diametrically opposed to that. So listen, if anybody want to come up on stage, by all means, raise your hand. Give us some insight. If you agree or if you disagree, you can come up here. We ain't always looking for people to agree with us. As for me personally, my scholarship is on point. So I'm very well read, and I didn't come here to debate, but if I got to shut something down or if I got to pull out that scholarship, we can do that as well.
Right. And I would like to propose the question, what does separation look like or mean to some of the people, that are in the chat? What does separation mean to you?
Yeah, I just see someone it said a request and then it went away. Oh, and I see someone. This person raised their hand. Yo, can y'all bring people up? Cause I don't know how to do this.
Yes, sir. We can definitely bring people up.
All right, yeah, cause I see Mrs. L. I think had her hand raised.
Her hand is raised, but I don't see the request.
Sister Miss Dale, you have the floor, or if you're up, I can see her. Well, I see her up on the stage with her hand raised, but I'm not sure if she came off her mic. Maybe she dropped.
Yeah, unmute. Unmute, Miss L. Hey, good evening, family. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Hey, good evening, everyone. I have my Bluetooth in, so I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Salute to you guys, Brother Shabazz, Brother GBS, Brother Black Truth, Sister Nicey Girl. I just wanted to say I've just been listening in for the last hour or so. And to you, Brother Shabazz, thank you for documenting
the case for reparations. Going back to our ancestors from the 1800s, shortly thereafter, slavery, quote unquote, ended in 1865, they didn't have the access to the knowledge that we have now in 2025, and they still did a phenomenal job on the grassroots level at the time of, like you said, galvanizing so many people during that time to push the case for reparations. For our younger generations coming up behind us, because I'm Gen X, so you have millennials after us, and then you have Gen Z, and then Gen Alpha, and I believe even Gen Betas. Now I think babies born in 2025, 2026 are considered Gen Beta. So we have all of these generations behind us, and they can look back now on the work that you and many others have done to document the case, to go into the court records and look at laws specifically that were written to target us, like in Wilmington, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
where there was a concerted effort by white supremacists to overthrow Black progress. So there's no more excuses. There's no more reason to quote unquote study. It's documented. They know what was done. We know what was done. We have the record of it, and we can pass it on to the generations after us to continue to push. Gen Beta really honestly should be the last generation that should have to fight for this and fight for us and what we need and what's due to us. And on that note, I'll yield my mic.
Can I ask you a question? Who comes up with the name Generation X, Generation Gen Beta,
Right.
Gen Alpha? Who comes up with them names?
I don't know. I got babies, so I just know that I'm raising Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and y'all send some help because he's interested in my house
Okay.
with my husband.
All
So
right. I
I
understand
don't
the
know
Gen
though.
Alpha, but the Beta, I hope they trying to say these gonna be the Beta males. You know what I mean? 'Cause we raising warriors. I
Exactly.
just
Amen.
always, because they come up with these names. They get the name the hurricane, what the hurricane gonna be, and what the next generation gonna be. Now we got to start putting our name and our stamp and our approval on that, man. But thank you for all that you said and all that you do. I appreciate you, sister. I think the brother Black Truth United was up next.
Salute, brother Raheem Shabazz, brother Great Black Shark, sister Nicey Girl, and Mrs. L. It's a good thing to be in this room, to be listening to another book which shares that history that they are attempting to hide, attempting to get rid of. It's almost like the book Fahrenheit 451. They're attempting to rid our institutions of history, and it's only having the opposite effect. What I've seen is that more people are now going out of their way to search for our history. They're looking up our scholars, they're looking up the grandmaster teachers, they're even looking up modern teachers who are putting out work. So I finally, I finally got your book. I ordered it myself on Amazon. Took me a while. Sometimes I'm behind. Brother Great Black Shark can attest to this. He'll sometimes recommend something, and then like 6 months later, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that book that you recommend." Yeah, it takes me a while, but I eventually come around. So I ordered the book, and I look forward to reading it, Brother Raheem. But anyway, I just wanted to add that insight. Peace to the room.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts after you finish reading it. So anybody else want to get on the stage and join the discourse?
I just wanted to make mention also in the purple pill, the link to the book is in the purple pill for those who want to order it and have not yet ordered it. The link to the book is in the purple pill, along with the link to get his movies, Elementary Genocide.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I gotta get I see that I gotta get more computer savvy. Y'all they'll call it the purple. Would you call it the purple pill?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm familiar with the terminology. I be hearing people saying it, but I'm like, why did they call it the purple pill? I thought it was the red pill and the blue pill. Well, can you break it down for a novice like myself? Why is it the purple pill?
So when you see the link for spaces, you notice it's in purple. I don't know what it looks like on yours. You
Oh yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
see
that's
it's
why
in
we call it.
purple.
Yeah, so we call it the purple pill.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. All right.
Hey, brother Ron, I actually have a suggestion, good brother, to help get you more acclimated to spaces. From time to time, whenever our schedules align, if you want to co-host some with me, you know what I'm saying, or help me, I can help you co-host some so you get more acclimated. We can do that. Just let me know when, brother. You know, you got my number, man, because I'm gonna say it again because this is a very humble brother. All right, very talented, humble brother. I'm gonna brag on you in front of everybody here. Let me tell y'all something, man. If you would like to book this brother for public speaking, he does speaking engagements as well. Hey, bring him to your HBCU or your university. You know what I'm saying? And you would definitely benefit from this brother's knowledge. Like I said, he's a documentary filmmaker, does a lot of good work here in the Atlanta area community. He has a vast range of knowledge as far as helping any young brother or sister that might have spent some time in incarceration and how to get their lives back on track. So, again, he's a very humble man, but you know me, I keep telling everybody, if I know you have a talent and I see that you're humble, I'm going to sound the alarm and let people know because this is a great time for us to be on code. It's a time of convergence. And this is why we encourage any of you to come on up here and speak your piece. And like I said, you can disagree. Just keep in mind the spirit of the room. We do it respectfully because the convergence of ideas, even when they clash, that's actually healthy. We don't have all the answers. We just have pieces of the puzzle, and we're trying to put it together for the empowerment of our people. So, with that said, I see my good brother, West Coast brother Twizzle, in the building. My brother, I shall pass the mic to you, unless brother Raheem, you had something else to contribute here, good brother.
Nah, let's give it to Twizzle. It's your time to shine, brother.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How y'all gentlemen doing this good Saturday evening? What's up with you, Rob? What's up with you, Great Black Shark? You understand me? How the gentlemen
Yeah,
doing this good Saturday? You know?
I am blessed and ready to receive, man.
Yes,
Doing
indeed.
fantastic, good brother. Thanks for asking.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to you too, Nicey. I see you over there. You know what I mean? As they say, if we complain, nobody would listen. So we only gonna do is stick to our mission. You understand me? But yeah, I want to speak on the topic of the room, ladies and gentlemen, because this is something that's kind of dire to me. This is something that I spoke on before. And like I tried to tell a certain gentleman in these spaces, our reparations, we don't have questions, we have claims. And this is another one of our claims of being reparation for the simple fact I always said that our reparations will be an American renaissance, an American rebirth. Because since we founded this country, since we defended this country and built this country, I think it's our turn to have a shot at this country to where we can have it to where we don't have no supervision. We don't have no people trying to manicure us. Not only that, we don't have to worry about nobody trying to steal our property, steal our assets, and not only that, come burn it down. I think our reparations will be a renaissance to a certain degree. Once we get ours, we don't have to worry about nobody else. We don't have to separate. I mean, whenever I start cooking, people want to call. But yeah, I feel like once we get our reparations, we're gonna come together with a plan so sweet to where only thing we got to do is learn from our past. We learn from Omar Gaddafi because if we try to share our plans, we get assassinated. We share our plans in secret, then we start building. But I'm gonna share this with y'all. I really feel that a lot of us Black Americans, especially on the West Coast, I really feel we need to repatriate the South. And why I say that, because on the West Coast, we have nothing Black. Only thing we have Black is the Bay Area and Los Angeles. Other than that, we have to travel all the way to Houston, Texas, just to get Blackness. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like we should repatriate the South. And like I say, I really feel like we should rebuild that Mississippi Delta area. The birthplace of our blues, the birthplace of our culture, and the birthplace of a lot of things that we have going on. We should revitalize that. You know what I'm saying? Because if they can revitalize if how they're trying to steal Gary, Indiana, or how they're trying to revitalize Detroit and turn Detroit into a Muslim country like Minnesota, why we can't take the Mississippi Delta and take that over because it has a ported entry, it has a waterway, and not only that, it has access to the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? This is just me thinking out loud, but this is something that I really say because it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. They say we gonna buy Jordans, we gonna do this and that, but check, you got real thinkers like me that's coming up with plans and solution, not asking nobody for nothing. So once we get our money, we gonna start putting shovels in the dirt and start making stuff happen because it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. We are the innovators with this culture. Everybody is following us and looking to us for our culture. So hey, it's time to lead the way in our culture and come up with this and that. You know, I have way more plans than this, but this is just a little idea that I'm giving now to let people know that I'm not just a thinker. I'm not just a person just sitting on my hands talking about, I wish I could. I have plans. You know what I'm saying? I just need the money to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I just want to give a shout out to the room, man, because as I said before, and I'm gonna say this again, it ain't what we do, it's how we do it. And as us being black, everything we do is trend setting, culture setting, America setting way. So I just want to say thank y'all for giving me the privilege to talk to such esteemed, privileged people. And hey, man, it ain't what we do, how we do it. And I love y'all, man. Nothing you can do about it. I land my plane.
Appreciate you, Twizzle.
Thank you very much for that input, good brother, because that's the spirit that we need, and that's the spirit that's unique to the West Coast and many other areas across the country. Because Brother Twizzle is right. We can do anything we put our mind to. All we have to do is keep those of us that are on code that have the mind to build and actually implement. And we have to lead the way to show people that, hey, look, once we get a victory here, all you got to do is just come, put your skill set in. Everybody has different skill sets, but all of them actually matter. So I thank you for having that discourse. With that said, I'll yield to Brother Rob.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, yo. I'm over here
Not you here
eating.
smacking. Not you
Yeah.
smacking.
You mind if I
And
say
you
one
got to
more
share,
thing?
brother.
You mind
You
if I
got to
say one
share,
more
man.
thing,
You
General?
can't be here without us, man. You got to share, brother.
I
Hey,
thought my mic was muted. I'm over here just eating. I am so sorry. But
I just want to say, do you
Brother
mind if I
Rob,
say
we
one more
heard
thing?
you over there snacking now. We heard you now. Don't make me put my white man voice on. I'll tell you what, if you keep eating without sharing with the room, I'm going to go get Roland Martin. We going to come over there and take them snacks from you, brother.
not roly poly. Roly poly, he want the snacks. He want to give the white man our reparations. We can't have him come over here. No, sirree. But no, definitely what you said is very important. We have a lot of black led movements that propose the idea of black people taking over what they call the Bible Belt, which is the rural South, several different states. Um, and Mississippi is one of them because that's a majority black state. I've been there several times. Actually, the brother was talking about me going into the prisons and speaking. Um, I've been down there to Jackson prison in Jackson, Mississippi. Um, Actually, when I went down there, I went to 3 prisons in one day. I went to the women's prison. I went to the man's prison. They was right next door to each other, right across the street. And then they took me to the adolescents. And I went in there and I spoke. Um, that was one time I was down in Mississippi. Another time I was down there.
is he still talking? I can't hear him.
Yeah, I was just about to ask Brother Rob, your mic went out good, brother. We couldn't hear you. You dropped off.
Oh, what part? What's the last thing I said?
You were saying that you were going into the prison speak to the adolescents and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah, that was the. I said so much after that. No, I was talking about how I've been to Mississippi on 2 occasions, maybe about 3 occasions, but the one time I did go, I went down there into the prison system, and I went to 3 prisons in one day. I went to the man's prison, went next door, right across the street to the women's prison and spoke, and then they drove me to an adolescent prison, where I spoke, and to see them young brothers, right? When I was at the adolescent prison, that was very profound because they gravitated towards me. The warden, the first thing he told me, he said, "I don't know who you is." He said, "But they told me I gotta have you in here." He said, "My staff and the inmates, they requested you, so you here." He said, "I'm gonna warn you though." He said, "The last person we had here, he didn't last 10 minutes before, we had to get him up out of there. So good luck." I'm like, damn, that was a that was a good prep speech for me. So one of the ladies that was there, it was a staff member. I was like, "Yo, what is he talking about?" She said that they had, I think it was like 68-year-old blues singer that they brought in to speak to them young boys, and they cussed them out, told them get the hell out of here with that with that rhetoric. And I think the problem is that when you don't have no skin in the game and you ain't cut from that same cloth as these young individuals, or you don't have no empathy for what they're going through, they see right through the bullshit. You know what I mean? So when I went in there, I go in there and I talk that talk. You know, I'm gonna talk about liberation. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk about being defiant, being your true self. Right in front of the guards. But I do it in a way where you know I make sure that they know that, yo, listen, at the end of the day, you're a man, and regardless of what you did or what you in here for, they have to respect your humanity. But anyway, so I have been to Mississippi doing that type of work, and then I also went down there for an organization, and it's called Jackson Rising, and it was with Choke Lumumba. His son was I think, matter of fact, his son was trying to be the mayor. And that's what the event was about, getting him the votes and people coming in speaking and endorsing him. And he eventually became the mayor. And while I was down there, they was taking me all around. And Jackson, Mississippi, the land down there is cheap. Black people are down there and they run everything. You know, it's just that there's not enough leadership. There's a lot of black people, but there's not the right type of leadership. There is leadership down there, but you need more. When you have a vast amount of black people like that, you know, and to get them on code, you need a certain type of leadership. It takes a certain type of leadership. That's why we need brothers, like myself, Twizzle, um, Great Black Shot, even the sister, Nicey T, to get on these platforms and talk, because I don't have to be physically present in Mississippi, but we can bring Mississippi to this platform and get them on code and show them, what needs to be done and how to do it. Because there's brothers down there that are riders, and with that, let's see who else we have that want to come up and speak. Oh, I see it say one request. Let me see. Who is that? Speaker. Uh, it said one request. I pressed on it. Do y'all see who that request is? Great
I
Black
think it
Shark?
was already the people that spoke already because I
Oh,
see it, but when you click on it, it's the people that already spoke.
yeah. So anybody else want to come up here and speak? Now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start once
You
again.
mind if I say something right quick, man?
Oh yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, indeed. I want to say something because this is the epidemic and this is a situation that we've been having lately ever since the suitcase situation, if y'all know what I mean. I'm really getting tired of these scared people. I'm really getting tired of people complaining. I'm really getting tired of people talking about what they gonna do. And I'm really getting tired of people in this fear mongering. I feel like this, as they say, if you don't have no news, we can use everything else you can lose because we in a situation right now. We need thinkers. We have the fighters, and now we just need the backers. You know what I'm saying? And the backers is the
Hmm.
people with the money for the simple fact we have plans to put forth. As I said before, I say it again. 2026 is going to be a prominent year because it's going to be election year. We have all these ear hustlers in here paying attention, and they know who's who. So they're going to be buying for our attention and buying for our favoritism. And this is when we finna see who's silent and who's not, because a lot of people on here that's on this app to get their platforms out and to be on YouTube and all this and that. We finna see who the sellouts gonna be. You know what I'm saying? All the ones who gonna be, well, I think y'all need to vote for this and vote for that. We finna see who the sellouts gonna be because everybody know if it's not for reparations, if it's not for a hate crime bill and a few other initiative claims that we have in our plan, hey, you a sellout. And a lot of these motherfuckers is being exposed. So I just want to tell everybody just kick back and relax. We got the rest of this year to enjoy ourselves because 2026 is going to be a real BITCH. You know what I'm saying? And to the ones that's solid, the ones that's knowledgeable, the ones who've been putting in work, and the ones who know what time it is, hey, we got the fuel and the ammunition and the experience to endure. But to all you others, hey, your true color finna be shown. And it's finna be shown, hey, and the mob saying it ain't no forgiving on this one. It ain't no forgiving, and you finna get a phone call. So hey, that's all I want to say,
Whoa,
and I land my plane.
whoa, that's what it is. There's gonna come a time where we gotta separate the wheat from the chaff. Earlier, me and Great Black Shark, we was talking, right? And we was talking about, we can get a little off topic right now. We was talking about the Charlie Kirk situation, right? There was billionaires and millionaires backing him. They found this individual when he was in high school, and I think he made have went half a year to college. He was a college dropout. He wasn't no intellectual, but they seen him speaking in high school, and they handpicked him. Like, you know what? He got what we need. He's going to be the next one. We're going to groom him. We're going to put some money behind him, and he's going to push our rhetoric. We as black people, we have to do the same thing, especially for those of us that has some type of financial power, and a lot of times, listen, we're just finding out about the names of the billionaires and millionaires that put money behind it. And I'm sure there's so many more that we don't even know about. Everything ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's how it was back in the days that individual celebrity that was supporting Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or the civil rights movement. They was paying for the bail of some of the Black Panthers to get them out of jail. And we didn't know about it till the 90s or the 2000s, you know what I mean? Because everything ain't for everybody. But we definitely need individuals, everybody's not a leader. Everybody don't have oratory skills, that can get up here and speak, but you might have some money. Or you might know someone that is doing something and all they need is some financial backing. The brother Twiz talked about, migrating, having individuals from California migrating to the South. What does that look like? What does it take for that to happen? You know what I mean? Do we have people in place that can sponsor, their traveling expense? Listen, if we gonna build, we need to start thinking in terms of that. You know what I mean? And we got to do it because at the end of the day, family, we the holders and keepers of ourselves in predicament, and we got to do it. We can't depend on no our open enemy, no one else. I was gonna say something else, but I'm trying to be real respectful because yeah, I'm just trying to be respectful,
Hey, brother, it's
but
your space,
be
and we're all
disrespectful at the
adults.
same
It's
time.
your space, and we're all adults. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. When I was no, I'm gonna be disrespectful if I have to, but I'm trying to be respectful where I don't get the space shut down. I was gonna say something, and I know a lot of times they, if they do the replay, they'll shut your stuff down for saying certain things. So I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Right. And I wanted to
But
piggyback on what you said about supporting monetarily because we know that our open enemy does not have a problem with writing a check, to
hmm
people that look like us in order to sabotage, our movements. So as long as we get behind those people, black people, to push our agendas, we don't have to worry about the dominant society backdooring us with their little checkbooks. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
very important that we get behind people that we choose and support them with security, support them with sharing the message, and obviously supporting them with our pockets. So I wanted to just add to that.
yeah, because the opposition is definitely gonna take those that they feel that are the weakest link, and they're gonna offer them money. We seen that during the presidential election. Roland Martin got hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Kamala Harris campaign. So that's why it was easy for him to call people idiots and stupid for not voting for her because he was getting paid from her. Al Sharpton violated FCC guidelines by taking money and getting paid from the Kamala Harris campaign and having her on there and had hundreds of thousands of dollars paid to his organization, not to the news network, but to his organization. And the organization came out. The network came out and said, they're gonna look into it because it's a violation. You know, um, you can take money, but you have to let people know that the person that you are interviewing for that's trying to become a presidential or their presidential candidate is that they are spent money, whether it was for ads, paid ads, or whatever. You have to be transparent and let the people know. And when you don't do that, then it just shows, that you was bought and paid for. And those type of handkerchief head Negroes is the ones that when the revolution start, those are the first ones they got to get rid of. And I'm just gonna leave it like that.
And we have plenty out here in Cali. Let me tell you, Isaac Bryan, being one of them. I can just go down a line, just with the California Legislative Black Caucus itself. We have so many turncoats and imposters out here. It's a damn shame, especially when it comes to the reparations, task force here. It's bad here in LA, y'all. And so when Twizzle
Yeah.
said, us, moving out of the state of California and just, making our way, back down south. It's so crazy that he said that because my son and I was like, should I sell my house
Oh,
and
oh,
and
nicely,
move back
nicely. It's
down
ugly
south?
up here in the Bay. It's ugly up here in the Bay.
Yeah, I
It's
got people
real
in
ugly.
Sacramento. I got people
Yeah,
in San Jose. I got
hell
people
yeah,
in Oakland. So I
yeah.
already know.
That's where I'm from. I'm from Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Respect to the room. I didn't mean to cut off the host or be disrespectful or
No,
anything.
no,
You know
no,
what I'm
no. That's
saying?
cool. It's
Respectful to the
conversational.
room. But what Nicely is saying, 100% correct, because I was at several California reparations task force meetings. And the one I was at in Oakland, we witnessed Camila Moore shopping while people up there speaking and putting their claims on, therefore, why we should receive reparations. You know what I'm saying? I've been to several and I just witnessed that they have no interest in it. Especially it was that old man there, what was his name? Amos Brown, the old
Yeah.
NAACP man from San Francisco who talking about
Uh,
they just want money for their place and stuff like. We need to get rid of these old people who's just too busy trying to get by, you know what I'm saying, to get their pension and skate downhill. We need fighters. We need youth that's going to be here because that's what people like me are fighting for. We're fighting for the youth. I'm fighting for my children because my children don't have grandchildren. I don't want them to go through that generational poverty that I went through because gentlemen like me from the Gen X, these millennials they don't have a clue or they don't want to know how far we had it. They don't know about the first and the 15th or when the social worker used to come by your house, pop up, come in and go through your whole house. And if they saw any man's clothing, they would take the children and put them in a foster home, and they would take the mother out of her home and take her funding and everything. In certain cases, put her in jail for fraud. A lot of you millennials don't know about those times. That's why y'all need gentlemen like us Gen Xers to really insinuate and put this in you guys and let y'all know that we have to keep fighting because if we don't keep fighting, those days can go back to those. They think, oh, well, it ain't gonna go back to that. Well, what you think indentured servitude is? What you look at
Right.
all the black homelessness that's out here, especially in California. California is 50% black homeless families, not people's families. Then what's gonna be next? So we have to start thinking ahead and quit crying over now. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying or complaining. You know what I mean? And me, I love my black people. I don't get on us. I'm not ones to say that we are our own worst enemy. I love us from the Pookies and Ray Rays to the Bougies and all that. There's one thing for sure, two things for certain. I do not judge a man because I do not know what that man or woman have been through. As us being black Americans, we all been through hell. We all deal with mental illness and we all have PTSD. So the only thing we can do is try to listen to one another and try to understand. Because like I said before, and I shared on here, I had a buddy, a best friend, a childhood friend commit suicide over loneliness, depression, and PTSD, all because nobody would listen to him. So I know the value of having somebody just to listen to. So that's when we men be on here talking. We don't be in here complaining or bitching. Sometimes we'll be on here crying out just to have somebody to talk to and listen to. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
That's the most valuable thing in the world. So hey, I land my plane on that. Sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
Peace. Raheem, I think that Great Black Shark is having some technical difficulties. He's tried to come back up. Are you able to see him and bring him back in?
I see him on here. It says that he's a co-host.
Okay, so it's doing the same thing mine is doing. So, Great Black, I don't know what to do, buddy.
You'll have to drop him down and bring him back up. Drop him down and send him an
How you
invite.
drop him
Yeah,
down?
send him an invite.
Remove.
Yeah, just remove him as speaker and send him an invite back.
All right, remove him, and then you said send him an invite. All right, he requests invite to speak. All right, and now let me make him a co-host. All right, I think I got the hang of
There
this.
you go. There you go.
There you
Hey,
go.
apologies, family. That was my fault over here, man. My clumsiness. I hit the leave button by accident and kicked
Wow.
myself off the stage.
Okay. Yeah, what I was texting you and telling you is that you said to check the queue. There was one person where it said request, but when I went and looked, there was nobody there. So I think that's a glitch in the matrix because it keeps saying one person and there's nobody there. But we got our brother Jojo in the building, man. Shout out to that brother, man. Um, if you look in his bio, it said Linux-based reparations. So he's definitely a part of the reparation movement. Um, Good brother, if you want to say anything, definitely, man, raise your hand. We'll get you up here on stage. We're gonna close it out probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes. We've been rocking since 9 p.m.
And what's good, cool
But
peasy?
yes, all right. Let me. All right, now you can speak. Peace, brother. We got you on here as a speaker. You can unmute yourself.
But what going on? Hold up, bro. I just got out of work, man. 14
Man, put that
goddamn hours.
seatbelt on, man. Put that
Hey man,
seatbelt on.
we be thugging around here sometime.
Nah, man, we need you, man. You gotta put that seatbelt on, man.
What going on, Raheem? What's up, everybody in the space, man? What we talking about? I seen you pop out of space. I said, hold up, Raheem got a space car?
Yeah, I don't never do no space, man.
But hell no, can't even get you in a space.
Nah, you get me in a space, I'll be in there. I just don't do them. You know what I mean? But we was discussing a chapter from the book called "It's Reparation Then Separation," and my whole
Oh, yo, book.
yeah, yeah. So my overall premise on that is, we talk about reparations so much, but we seldom talk about what we're gonna do after reparation. Because I'll be goddamn if I'm gonna get money and pass down generational wealth to my seed and my lineage, and we still be amongst our open enemy. Nah, it's separation. And I was telling them, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that separation is better than prayer. So we talked about that. We read from the book, some excerpts, and then we discussed it. But we was just talking about a lot of these legacy organizations that deal with reparation. They're on the wrong side of history, especially the task force that's out there in California, and it's a shame, man. Our own people, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, we got to get a lot of these people out of the paint, man, and get those that are really about this work, man, and for the people in position. Now, I remember me and you, we was here at the Fulton County, and you went up there and went crazy. You know what I mean? Because they was off code. And you put them in their motherfucking place. And matter of fact, I recorded that and we put that video online. But same thing, man. Them old heads, that been in the movement since the 60s, you know, um, they don't have a grasp of what's going on, and they're out of pocket. You know what I mean? And Yeah, that day JoJo gave them some straightening. But go ahead, brother, man, you speak, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, thinking about that, and you saying them legacy organizations, man, the Liberation Ventures dropped another bag, I think a few weeks ago. People periodically check their website to see what's going on, because a lot of these organizations that are set up used to usurp our energy to support whatever causes that they have, only to leave us empty-handed and time wasted. They get their money from Liberation. A lot of them get their money from Liberation Ventures. Liberation Ventures is like this multi-organization with so many founders. I'm talking about they got multiple billionaires founding it. It's like maybe like 30 billionaires founding this organization, and then they got other sub chapters. Man, it's wild, right? Uh, we got to be real mindful. Like you say, separation. That's a good thing, man. Because just kind of not to get off topic, man. The white people be talking about they don't want to be around us, but they ran over to the HBCU messing with the youth the other day. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it's like, what do you want? Like, you can't live without us. I believe that they're gonna have to be, they're gonna have to expire themselves. You get what I'm saying? They're already trying to, what you call it, pass on their ideology to other ethnic groups that aren't, Caucasian, and don't really have ties to the European and the motherfuckers that was really pushing that shit, right? But they want to have that legacy still in place for other people that look like they're white or Caucasian or whatnot to practice anti-blackness. Like the Mexicans, you got a lot of these Latinos doing it. Uh, the Mesa La Raza, whatever, they lighten up the race and shit like that. So yeah, we got a lot of problems on our hands that we wish not to deal with. We got our own issues at home. We got our own issues in our community that we always working to solve and working to fix. And you got that enemy right there continuing to be in position to attempt to attack us, man. Always on an attack. So yeah, I believe separation is good, but our defense system need to be set up for real, for real. I encourage everybody to practice their Second Amendment right. For real, for real. Protect you and yours, man, because I gotta protect me and mine, you know? So yeah, man, yeah, that's all I had, man. I just surprised to see you, my nigga. I ain't seen you in a minute. I'm gonna holler at you when I'm back in the city, man. I'm shit, man. I'm still around the goddamn country, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You know where I'm at, man. Same number, same hood, man. I like. But yeah,
Yeah, already.
the brother is definitely right, man. That organization, man, they got money in abundance, and they will post that list. They'll post the amount of money that they gave. They'll tell you when it opens up for more money. And let me tell you something. I done seen, I think it was in Cobra, NACA, Reparations United, NAACP, and so many more on that list. And this was about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. So, and they give out money like it ain't nothing. And like he said, these are million and billionaires. The Heritage Foundation and all the these are the same people that's funding that white boy, man, Charlie Kirk. You know, this this thing is real serious, man. And they funded these organizations, man, because these people ain't serious about reparations, man. You know what I mean? Because you can hear the rhetoric, man. You know what I mean? There's lawyers, there's constitutional rights lawyers, there's individuals that already laid the groundwork on how much They put a dollar amount to it. And you could do a financial analysis of what they saying and come to that exact dollar amount. We got economists that already did the work for us. I'm not no economist. I don't understand them numbers, but I know what $16 trillion can do for us. But they came up with these numbers. You know what I mean? And these same organizations will bypass all of that and talk about some goddamn college admission, uh, uh, criminal reform. You know what I mean? Listen, they doing that already with the second, the first, what is it called? Second Chance Act and all that. We getting criminal reform. You know what I mean? In certain states, they making college admission free. You know what I mean? That's not reparations, man. You can get that to everybody. So that's what I want to say. But listen, I want to wrap this up. I'm let Great Black Shark take it to the floor, and then we're gonna let our sister, our dear sister, Nicey T, close it out. And I'll be remiss if I didn't give our sister, man, rest in peace to our warrior queen, Asada Shakur, that spoke heavily about the reparation movement and was one of the frontline warriors. And her life, you know, we don't mourn her death. We celebrate it because we celebrate her existence because she, what's the name? She lived her life and she embodied what freedom is. And she showed that no matter what, the whole might of the United States, COINTELPRO, FBI, CIA, they couldn't do nothing with her because the brothers was on cold. You know, you had brothers that went up in that prison and got our sister up out of there. And when she got up out of there, listen, she didn't automatically go to Cuba. She was still here for a while. You know what I mean? And they kept her underground. Brothers was and sisters was on cold. And that's why when you see that slogan, um, a solid Shakur is welcome here. That's what they were saying back then. They was letting the world know she's welcome here. We're not giving her up. And they got that sister, you know, to get to Cuba, and she lived the rest of her life out over there. But I'm gonna give the floor to Great Black Shark, and then we're gonna let our queen sister, Nicey T girl, you know, bring it home. I want to say peace and Black power to everybody. I appreciate everybody for coming on here and joining the conversation. You can get the book Radical Hope of the 21st Century on Amazon. You can also go on my page, elementarygenocide.com, and order it. You can hit me up, you know, through social media, DM me to get a personal copy. And I'm going to say peace, Black power, and reparations.
Man, brother, I want to thank you for hosting this space and introducing the people to your documentary film work and to this book. And I definitely want to build on what you were saying about our Queen Mother Asada Shakur. We will make sure that her name and her legacy lives on to uphold her to young foundational Black American freedmen women as a symbol of what an on-code, upright, intelligent, just sister looks like. Because where they want to promote the sexy reds, the Suki Hunters, and Glorrillas, we will counter that by showing them, no, this is what they fear you becoming. This is why they invest so much money into trying to push degeneracy on our sisters. But see, if we uphold people like Asada Shakur, teach them about people like Kelly House, we all know Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson, the name goes on and on. This is what it takes to counter that. And see, what I want people to understand as well, please do take to heart everything that we were discussing. Discuss it with some young people that you know that have the mind and intelligence to listen. Because one thing we have to start doing is following the money. Like the brother JoJo and brother Raheem was saying, when you follow the money, you get all your answers, okay? That's where it all goes down to. You follow that money. And as far as like any political party, the Democrats or Republicans, especially the Democrats, like what they're doing over there to our brothers and sisters in California, I want to introduce to the people over here tonight something that I have coined into the lexicon of everybody's mental consciousness. We have to make them come with proof of concept policy, meaning that there's no more get you in there, then we're going to see what you do for us. Nope. You need to be showing us where you're already actively doing something that supports the agenda of our people, anti-Black hate crime bill, reparations, and many other things. They have to come and bring that to us first before we give them a single vote. And we must let them know that there will be political punishment if you get in there and you ignore our people. So I want everybody to have a spirit of declaration, okay? A spirit of declaration, not debating anybody. If anybody comes to any person in here talking about a debate, as intelligent as astute as you are on any given subject matter, you charge them a reparations fee. Shout out to our good brother Philip Scott for that term. Charge them a reparations fee on top of a time fee, because I tell people that time is the most precious, non-renewable resource that any of us have. We can get material things back. We can't get our precious time back. So you value your intellect. There's nothing to teach these people. We're not going back and forth with them. Our existence and our empowerment is not up for debate. That's a declaration. We will keep ourselves and our families safe. We're not getting permission from nobody. Like the Negroes always asking Caucasians permission, the NAACP, NCOBRA, and all the rest of them. We will not let the old off-code sellout generation that are taking crumbs off master's table hinder this movement. Their day is over. Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, and the generations after this, the future belongs to our people. So again, I thank you for this discourse. We thank everybody that joined us here tonight. And the next time, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be the most eloquent speakers. Come up here. You are family when you are in any of our spaces. We welcome you. We don't have all the answers. I know some of you are shy and don't want to get up here and speak. Nah, man, y'all bring yourselves up here, because I know several of you in this audience. I won't call you out this time, but some of you are very brilliant, brothers and sisters alike. So feel free to join the discourse. And with that said, being that I'm Captain Long-Winded, I shall yield to our sister Nicey Girl. But we thank everybody for attending tonight.
Appreciate you, brothers, and thank you again to everybody for joining the space tonight. I want to sincerely thank Raheem Shabazz as well as Great Black Shark for inviting me to have this chit chat with you guys about a very important book and conversation centered around reparations. Again, everyone, the link to the book as well as to his movies, Elementary Genocide, is also in the Purple Pill. I also wanted to give a personal shout out to lead organizers of the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, Chris Larson, Tiffany Quarles as well, and also our good brothers, Billions Godson from the African Town Coalition, and so many others I didn't name, but who play a huge role in this ongoing fight for reparations. It's bigger than any of us. It's about the collective justice, repair, and building the foundation for our future generations. Reparations is cash payments. Reparations is not about college tuition or in the under the bill AB 7, a consideration for admission. And I just want to shout out my brother Billions Godson, because he recently pulled up on one of the founding members of Lives Matter here in Los Angeles. She was on a radio station, and he was actually her personal security for many years. And so he had to call into the radio station at the time that she was on here, because she was with her whole chest back in this bullshit AB 7 bill, along with Caping for Palestine. You know what I'm saying? So I want to shout him out, for calling her to the carpet on her bullshit, you know what I'm saying, and getting behind a bill that he knows that does nothing for Black Los Angeles or Black people, Black Los Angeles, but Black people, period, foundational Black American freemen. So I wanted to shout him out. And again, I want to shout you all out for joining this space tonight. For everyone that spoke tonight, thank you for giving your input. Again, thank you to our brothers Raheem as well as Great Black Shark for everything you guys do in the movement. I appreciate y'all. Also, don't forget Necessary Blackness podcast. Raheem did not talk about his podcast or his show on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel, Necessary Blackness. And also, you should download this and post this Twitter space on your channel, Raheem. Thank you guys again for this space, and you all have a great night. Rob, we can't hear you.
Oh, my back, my back. Oh, see, I told you I'm new to this. No, what I was saying was to let people know about the podcast you do as well with Sincere Love to God.
Absolutely. So I do a weekly broadcast on Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sincere Love the Godcast on YouTube. You can just search Sincere Love the Godcast or Godcast Enterprises on YouTube, and you can find us there. We also have a children's book series, Seven the Super Heru, a children's book series. We also have, or just introduced to the collection, a Boredom Busters children's activities book, and we are
Mm,
introducing the children to Supreme Mathematics. So make sure you
mm.
cop that on Amazon. You can just search under Seven the Super Heru.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And another thing, family, I'm looking at what Nicey T posted. So far, only 5 people. Come on now. These other posts that's on this thread, the most got 92. It's the 5, and hers is the most pertinent one. She had posted the organizations that's delaying California reparations with that SB 437 bill, right? And wow, man, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many organizations? There's at least 15 on here.
It's
So you got 15 possibly not. Oh, matter of fact, all of them are not even black led. You got Asian America and Pacific Islanders for civic empowerment. What the hell are they doing? Even including themselves in any talk of reparation. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. You know, you got the ACLU, you got Reparation Generation, California Black Power Network, like California, Hawaii, NAACP. Come on, man. Like, yo, listen, we have to shut this down, man. Like, these organizations supposed to know that what they doing is emphatically against everything that we stand for and that the people are geometrically opposed to it. Because even if they're receiving money from these organizations, it's the people, man. The power's with the people. It always will be. It ain't with the money. The money help, but it's with the people. And with that, Nicey, I want to say this. Is there anything special I got to do, or I just log off?
you just log off.
All right, and it'll be saved.
Yes. That
Oh,
part I don't know. I don't know. Great Black Shark, that's your expertise, sir.
Yes, did you set it to record your space when it was playing when you set it there? Because if you did, it'll be available for playback.
yeah, yeah. It got the record thing. With the
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it got
Okay.
that.
Okay, it'll be available for playback now. If you want to end the space, just hit the leave button and that'll shut it down, good brother. And thank you again for holding this, and thank you to everyone. Be blessed. Salute to you. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you all in future egg spaces.
Peace.
Peace and Black Power.